Everyone dreams of living an uncommon life, and the best asset you have to achieve your dreams is you. Welcome to the Uncommon Wealth Podcast. We're going to introduce you to people who are living uncommonly. We're also going to give you some tools and strategies for building wealth and for pursuing an uncommon path that is uniquely right for you.
Hello, welcome to the episode of the Uncommon Wealth Podcast, where I'm your host, Philip Ramsey.
And I'm Aaron Kramer.
Don't you know? Aaron Kramer, everyone. Gotta love it.
Joining you today.
Can't wait. We have a good one. This topic, I think, is not one of our superpowers, but one that is probably underclassified of things that we can do in people. And one that I think when we think about our past, it's a huge component of at least my personal growth and my trajectory in my career. I'd say Aaron's too. I'd say a lot of people, but it's the belief or somebody who's believed in you. And I think that we not only believe in our clients, but we also then show numbers in order for that belief to come true. So it's not just emotional. It's like, no, here would be how it would work out, taking the emotion out of it. Again, we're financial advisors who kind of get passionate about having people pursue what they're passionate about. If you have any ideas or questions or comments about this, you can always call us at our feedback line, 515-446-8158. We'd love to hear from you. But today we're going to go Ted Lasso style. Belief.
Yeah.
Who has believed in you? So let's talk about that
Ted Lasso.
Quickly. I love that thing in Ted Lasso. He just hits that believe. And there is something about the belief in you, belief in somebody else that's powerful. And like thinking about my past, there's been a couple people that have done that to me specifically. And now just thinking about us as a company, who is believing in us now, it's encouraging to me. So tell me about your life and your belief and who's believed in you in the past. Let's go. What's your thoughts?
Oh, man. I like this because like anybody that's actually done anything, like knows it's one thing to have somebody that's like been close to you or like not like close to you, like they're newer or they're on the outside and they're like, oh, I believe in you. Like you can do this. And you're like, yeah, but you only know like 1/4% of the story. You haven't, because they're not in your inner circle. Right?
Yeah, right.
But to find people that are in your inner circle and find you when you fall down and you're building something and they still like, no, you got this, get back up, keep going. And they know all the dirt, they know all your flaws, and they still believe in you. That's like what I think you're talking about when we're talking about like being truly behind you, because that's the when it really means something, I think.
Yeah. So not only, believing in somebody is very superficial, I would think. And just quick, like, oh yeah, I believe in you. But the uncommon belief is when like, no. I know you're down and out, but I still believe in you. And like, I believe in like almost like mentorship. And we've always said this is like a mentor is somebody who believes something greater is in you and is willing to prove it to you. Like,
yes,
believes the best in you and believes that there's potential in you and is willing to prove it to you. That's a little bit of kind of like this belief of who has believed in you, even when you were like, I don't know if I believe in myself. And I would say when I told this, hey, Aaron, we're going to have a podcast on this exact topic, 4 hours ago? And you were like, okay, I got to think about this. And I've had some time to reflect on this. Poor Aaron hasn't. And so it's almost like a simple step because you all know I like to throw things at him. And graciously, he is accepting. So I'll go through first. But when I was thinking about this for myself, I was thinking, and I told Aaron that we couldn't use family and like wives because if they don't believe in us, you would have known and we wouldn't have gotten to a point where we're at today. But family, and maybe I take that for granted, but my parents have been like such a huge supporter. And so that's like family is kind of like, yeah, they kind of have to. And my wife, she just holds on for the ride. So
but I will say family doesn't always support you in business.
That's true. So maybe they should be back on the list. I'll let you argue.
No, they're just, I mean, I like the fact you went outside there because they should. If they don't, that just sucks, but they should.
Yeah. So, okay, when I've thought about this, the most impactful moments was when I was younger, when I didn't even know who I was and who I could aspire to be or what I even wanted to be in life. And so the people that I first put was this guy named Coach Kuhn, and he was my junior high football coach. And he was awesome. And he believed the heck out of me, even to the point where he'd let me call audibles like whenever I wanted to, which I was in 7th grade. No one should be. I should not. I shouldn't say nobody. Philip shouldn't have not have been calling audibles. And I ended up calling an audible on the 5-yard line. We were on our own 5-yard line, punch it in, 5 yards left, touchdown. Had a high diddle fullback up the middle play called. And I called the audible to a slant route. This guy was wide open. Threw it behind him, interception. Luckily, it wasn't a pick six because that would have been harsh. But I remember going back to the sideline, standing next to Coach Kuhn, and this is what he said. Well, did you learn something? I'm like, yep. He's like, all right, well worth it. Let's get out there and get it again. And that was something when I was like, oof, like I was pretty frustrated about my own self. And luckily he knew that. But just that little bit of like, did you learn something was instrumental in my, I think, growth of, like I believe that he knew that I was beating myself up more than he was going to beat me up with. So did you learn from something? And let's move forward. Like that to me was awesome. And I would say, I think he believed in me from then on out. Like I never did that again. But anyway, talk to me. So when were you felt like you were most impressionable to be like, somebody believes in me? Was it when you were younger too?
Yeah. I was like, I came up with 3 when you told me.
Okay.
But I had one when I was younger.
Okay. Let's go with that one first. It's good.
Yeah. So it is a teacher of mine.
Okay.
So I'll have to send this podcast out to her because I haven't talked to her in a while, but it's Lisa Hoffman.
Lisa, beast. Love it.
Like I've shared on the podcast before, like I'm dyslexic, ADHD, so school wasn't my jam. Now, I know there's a big misconception. I don't see letters backwards or anything like that. It's just sounds, and I miss, so like spelling, reading, a little different for me. Hence, I like numbers, so I'm a financial advisor. They stay consistent. But like kids, we all know kids can be cruel, right? And then if you've seen me, I'm not a small guy. And then you learn, like when you're a bigger kid, you can't ever stand up for yourself. So I learned just to take the beating from friends and kids and stuff. To the point where even like, I'd be in classrooms where, you do that whole, like, you have to read a paragraph, you go around the room thing.
Yeah.
Oh, I
hated that.
So
I'm getting
if I messed
right
up,
now.
Yeah, I could mess up on a word or something. I remember there's a handful of times I look up, even the teacher's laughing.
Ugh.
Right. And you're like, oh, this just feels, you feel so bad about yourself. So anyways, I say all this to really build Lisa up. The first time I got put in her class, I was bummed. People are calling me stupid. Because I misspelled a word or something like that. It's supposed to be easy. And she's this little lady. Like she's fired because she's like, she's married to like a big time Des Moines cop. And so she's like, they what? Yelled, and she's like, no one's gonna call anybody stupid on my watch. She just stormed down the hall, and I was like,
wow.
Wait, what? Wow.
It
took me 10 years in my 10 years, like in school, 10 years because I was in sophomore, until I found somebody to stand up for me.
Wow. And you were a sophomore in high school?
Yeah.
Wow.
So when she did that, I was like, wait, like I'm worth standing up for?
Wow. That's awesome.
Like, dang.
Isn't it like a paradigm shift when somebody's like, I believe in you? Like, no, we're not doing that. Like, that's great.
Yeah. So if you look at it though, like, so my wife told me, because she's a resource teacher, so she works with people that have IEPs and stuff. It was like, what is it? Is it like 1% of kids with an IEP graduate college, go to college and graduate? And it's like, or something like that. When I've graduated college, I'm in this business.
Yeah.
Like I've passed my securities exams. I've got
great
designations. So it's like without Lisa standing up for me and believing in me, like pushing me like, you're not dumb. You just learn different. That's it kind of thing. And I wouldn't be where I am today. Like seeing someone that one act, she did a lot of little things, but that one big act made the world of difference, and I trusted her, and she believed in me, and it was like, all right.
So good,
So
man. Isn't it? Like there's
yeah,
something powerful in like, no, I believe in you. I'm there. And like we said, like just this uncommon belief of like, not only do I believe in you, I'll be there if you fall, when you fall, I'm going to be like your biggest cheerleader. Like, no, don't let that get you down.
yeah, and
We've had people going down this uncommon path that like literally are like, we're close to hitting that bell. We're about ready to tap out. And like, I feel like that's not when we do our best work, but that's when we do some of our most impactful work.
yeah, like, and I think it's like, and it really works well because like the clients that we've done that for, like we have a long-standing relationship with,
hmm
and so like they know we're not just like cheering them on to be a cheerleader. It's like, no, no, no,
Right.
like we know you're hurting, we know
hmm
this, but like let
Right.
us show you the work that you've done
hmm
already and what you've built already,
hmm
and let us like show you that you're unique and you can keep like just breathe, you know.
That's right. That's right.
It's like I know you say this all the time, so this is kind of your statement. Like you like to say, everyone has a plan until you get punched in the face. The
That's
good
Mike
old
Tyson
statement.
says that.
Mike Tyson, I know,
I,
but you tell Mike Tyson's statement,
I
and
love it.
so uh, it's true. And I
True.
don't know. This is a bad analogy in the sense of like being punched. If you haven't been punched in the face, like it doesn't. But like if you have, there is a no amount of like, hey man, it doesn't hurt. Like just
Yeah.
fight through it kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. That's a
Like
good point.
you kind of want to just be like, shut up.
Yeah. It
Like I'm
hurts.
hurting,
My
you know?
my eyes are watering. Keep nodding
Yeah,
my house, nodding my head yes, and just thinking I want to quit.
yeah. So, but like, it does help to have somebody like
Yeah.
sit there and like, because that's the thing. I feel like when you're doing this, like, and I think that's one of the blessings we get in our industry is like, it's not easy in this industry, and it's not easy to
Mhm.
build a practice. So,
Mm,
I mean,
it's
you've been
good.
punched in the face. I've been punched in the face. So when you're helping somebody else that's being punched in the face, you're not just this person like you can do it with your cheerleaders, and they're looking at you like you've never even been punched in the face.
hmm
Like,
Right.
no, we've been there.
Yeah, true. Okay. Next person I have is back in junior high again.
Ooh,
It's fascinating. And it
junior
was
high must have been fun for you.
yeah, it was fun. I had a choir director. Her name was Stephanie Rumpel, Mrs. Rumpel. And
Wow.
it was crazy. So I was in choir back in junior high, and she wanted to apply and see if our choir, like little choir thing, would go to the Civic Center and try out to be on Joseph's Technicolor Dreamcoat. Ready for that? So we had to practice, and our parents had to sign something that says we can do it. So we go to the Civic Center because there was a traveling Technicolor Dreamcoat, the Broadway musical. Like, they travel from state to state, whatever. And then they have like local choir kids try out, and then they can be in the play. And so this is the same one that Donny Osmond would travel all around. He wasn't our Joseph, but anyway, so we go and we kind of try out for this choir thing. And I just remember her, like, she was like, no, like, you guys have potential. And it was more of a team thing. And so we practice, Aaron, we practice so much. And we get to the audition and we sang, and I'll never forget it, man. Mrs. Rumpel comes up to us, and we thought, I mean, we did as good as we could have. I don't know. And she was like, okay, change the plans. And we're like, okay, what? And she goes, I'm going to need you to sing that with a country accent. And we're like, and then we're up like in the middle of Civic Center. So like it's a pretty big stadium or auditorium. And I remember like thinking like, and again, I'm seventh grade, thinking like, is this a joke? Like, no way. She's like, nope, we should have been practicing the whole time we were auditioning like a country accent. And she was like, let's just give it a whirl and see what happens. Well, long story short, we made it. I don't know how. I think there was like 13 different choirs that were, but I remember like, and now we have to change our audition that we've been practicing. We ended up, I think, almost probably performing better because like we've never done that before. So it was like, okay, and kind of feeding off each other. But it was really neat when she came up, and then we ended up getting it, which was a huge blessing. So we got to perform at the Civic Center with sold out shows for, I think, like, I don't know, 7 or 8 times and 4 different nights or whatever. But that was also, I think, instrumental, like just being in front of a crowd And again, not a big part. And I was there with a team of, students, but that was a definitely instrumental moment in my life where somebody's like, hey, this is an idea, which was bigger than I ever thought. And like, oh my goodness, like, what's that? So we did that. And anyway, I think it was impactful. So
Yeah, that's
there
awesome.
you go.
I didn't
There
know
you
you
go.
could sing.
No, I can't. And then I went through puberty and it was all went south. That's not true. I don't know. My parents or my dad got transferred to Sioux City and they didn't really have a lot of music things. So I just never sang again after I transferred.
Okay.
Yeah. That's the story of
That's
that.
awesome. That's a good story.
Fun story. But I was
Choir.
fun just thinking through that. That was a neat one.
Yeah. That's awesome. You had an experience in that because it also shows you, like, it's funny how different we are in some, like, we're very similar in a lot of ways. And then one area is, if I told you my choir experience, you'd been like, whoa.
Yeah, way different. That's a whole different world. Okay, let's
Yeah.
go to when's your second, what age were you when you got your second like person that believed in you?
Oh, I think it would have been 25 or 26.
Okay. All right, so I'll go with mine and then I'll jump back into yours. So the next person that I wanted to talk about is Rick Hansen. So he is an individual that hired me to be an assistant manager at a skating rink. Whoop, whoop. And
Whoa.
I think I was a junior in high school. So no reason to be there and no
Yeah.
qualifications to be there, but here I was. And I don't know, there's something about that. Like this is now a professional setting and I was now like assistant manager at a skating rink, which really just meant there wasn't a specific spot for me. I just kind of ran around and did whatever it took. But it was interesting when I was thinking about, okay, professionally, who has believed in me so much so that they gave me a shot when I probably didn't, I shouldn't have gotten it. Kind of one of those things. That was one of those that I was like, oh, that's an interesting one that made me kind of smile.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah. And it was kind of the leadership kind of thing of like, now you're leading and how are you going to do that? And, as a junior, that's pretty good to be able to have an experience to have that kind of leadership.
That'd be trusted. Yeah. I mean, as a junior and that young.
Right. With money and all this stuff. And I don't know.
Yeah.
It shaped me for who I was today of just somebody believing, that you have bigger capacity than you even think you do it yourself. And you don't really have any experience to show for it. And they still put you up and say, all right, let's go. You're good.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So now let's talk about yours. And then I have a couple other ones that are kind of current. And I'm sure I can probably speak to many people that have poured into my life and believed in me up to this point, but give me your second one.
Yeah. I was going to say, like, I mean, I have so many people I could probably list out. I'm just you gave me 4 hours to think about it. We can't talk about forever. So if you're not mentioned, it's not because you didn't do something great.
That's right.
Mine would be, so it's funny. I think this guy, I don't think that I actually realized what he's done until like probably the past couple of years. More in the sense of like, you don't know. I learned this reading a book. You can't spot intelligence until you have a certain level of intelligence on a subject matter,
I think that's valid. Like, for example, let's say I go into a automotive place.
Yeah.
And the automotive says you need a new engine because of this, that, and the other. And I'm going to be like, okay, I guess I need a new engine.
Yep.
Versus
Exactly.
somebody who knows walks in, you're going to need an engine. Like, why? And then then you have an expert. Is that, am I barking up the right
That's
tree?
100% right. Like,
Okay.
yeah, because if we go with that example, it's like, a basic like mechanic will be able to follow and see the beauty of a NASCAR mechanic, right? Where like you and I, a NASCAR mechanic starts talking genius, you're like, cool. I don't know.
Goes
That
fast.
combustion did what?
Yeah.
So with that though, like, it kind of goes with my first one, but like, his name's Rick Yoder, and it's like,
Oh yeah.
guy's super smart, like super smart. And he knew me from the very beginning of my career. And he always took a liking to me and helped me. And I was always very open with him about everything. He's one of those guys you could just confide in. And so I did. And he never once swayed from telling me, like, Aaron, You need to get out of the business. This isn't for you. You're not smart enough or nothing. He's like, no, man. Like, but in the end, knowing him and once you get to know him, like he's a very honest guy. Like, will tell you exactly what he thinks.
Yeah.
So, and he always believed in me and really helped me understand. I think he was one of the biggest people that played a part in showing that, like, Aaron, you're not dumb, kind of thing.
Right.
But like sticking there and like, no, like, oh yeah, I can do this. And so he always takes my phone call, questions I have or whatever.
Yeah.
So
it's valid.
he really, like, someone of that caliber of intelligence to like sit there and have your back and tell you, like, because there's other people in this industry that kind of, not
They'll
like
sabotage you.
yeah, sabotage you, and you're just like,
Yeah.
oh, so, and he's never asked for anything back. So
Yeah, that's valid. That's a good one.
it was a big one for me. He's a big shout out. Like, he's played a big part, and it's funny because if you ever meet him, if you know him, he's a meathead, and then he doesn't fit the typical mold of your financial advisor. So
he's uncommon. That's probably why we gravitate towards him. Okay, that's a good one. All right, so here's the next one for me. And this is a current one because this is truly one of the reasons why I like finances. There's not many times I'm like, I love money. I don't love money. I love people and I love what they want to do with their money. I shouldn't say I love what they want to do with their life, and money is a tool for them to get there. But I would say that our clients believe in us deeply.
Oh, yeah.
Or else they wouldn't have gotten their money to us. And the thing I love about that is there's a transaction of trust that happens. Like, we've had many times where the people have signed more money than they have ever written in a check and handed over to us. Like, if there's not a level of trust and belief in that right there, I don't know what is. Like, there is something very, very deep that happens with trust, but also, like, I believe in where you're going. I believe in who you are. And that's something I don't take for granted. So
that's a big one, man. I didn't know that could be
I didn't either, but I was thinking of that.
That's a good one to think of. I just didn't know that was that's a really big one. Yeah, like that plays a big part. Like,
it does. Like,
like,
and not that it's like
so
individuals,
stressful.
but yeah, it's a big deal.
Like, I always tell people, like, when we get on this conversation with clients and money, at least I'm speaking for myself, at least. I mean, I think us financial advisors probably die pretty early because of that responsibility that they trust us with. It's a big responsibility, and it's a hard-earned money than they are. Like, I remember one of my clients writing a check, and I didn't get to be there when they did. They gave it to the front office, and client was sweating.
Mm-hmm.
They were so nervous, and you're just like, oh my gosh! It's like the last thing you ever want to do is disappoint a client.
That's right. That's right. So I would say too, especially our brand Uncommon Wealth, there is a movement involved. It's just not a name on top of a sign. It's a movement. It's that we believe that you are your best asset, and we believe that only you can create something that's perfect for you. And so, what does that look like? Well, there's a lot of things that it goes, but it's not just a name. This is a movement that people adopt into, and every time they write us a check that says they're buying into that movement. So that's a huge responsibility too, like you just said. So, okay.
Yeah.
What was your third one? And I'll tell you my couple other ones quick.
Okay. So my third one is kind of the same down. It happened a couple of years later after I found Rick. I found another guy who's financial advisor. He's out in Cedar Rapids. Name's Craig. And another guy, like, just super smart, but like loves people, and met him, and kind of like I met you like but it was through NAFA. Again, was just that guy that always was willing to take your phone call, and at the time before I met you, he was the only one that, like, through the planning side, that really understood what I was doing with, like, the psychology of money and counseling.
Yeah.
Even though he didn't really get it, he supported me and helped me talk through things, and got it. Like, he just got it, and he truthfully told me about his path and how it took longer, and he was the one I was telling you about how, because when we get in this industry, they say, oh, you're going to be making all this money in the first 5 years.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. And so like, I know I've told you this story, but he's the one that I was talking to. And that's something like this 5 year BS that people tell you in this industry. And he's like, 5 years. No, try 10.
Yeah, if that. Right. Like
Yeah. And so I was like,
I
oh
was
my gosh.
told it was a 1 year and I'd make 6 figures. Like
Wow.
that is, I mean, for the record, there are ways that you can do that. The problem with
Well,
those ways is I don't think they're that beneficial for the client.
yeah, you
So
gotta be able to sleep at night.
yeah. So there's that, but I guess there's a way.
Yeah. But that's the thing, when you start listening to those guys that really put people first,
Mm,
really care about people, it's like, and he was the first one to tell me that, but like you start asking, you start paying attention to these other
mm.
guys that really care for people, like they're working hard for people to serve. And it's funny, it's like, oh yeah, 10 years. Like he wasn't
Wow.
wrong, but like just always there, always a phone call away, because in this industry can get lonely.
Oh, heavens. Yeah. So the fact that you have two people from the industry, huge,
Yeah.
huge.
I know. So it was really good.
See.
So he played a big part too. So those are my three I thought right off the bat.
Those are good. All right. My other two, I have another group. You ready for this? You're going to be
Yeah.
like, really? Is that how we're going down, Philip? I'd say our team believes
Okay.
in where we're going, or else they wouldn't be here. Because, and I said the team because it hasn't been all sunshine and roses over here, it hasn't been rainbows and
Yeah.
cupcakes. And yet they're still right there. And so if they didn't believe in the bigger picture, in the vision and in the brand and our clients, I don't think they would have been here. So I can't not say, like, you, Ashley, Haley, all, like, those are the people that are really turning the bolts here underneath the screws here or underneath the hood, and they believe in it. If they didn't believe in it, it just wouldn't be worth it. So I don't
Yeah,
know.
we're all rowing.
They're all rowing. Hear that. And then last person I would say is my best friend, Eric Baker. Every Monday, man, he's like, how can I pray for you? And if he doesn't believe in the future, I don't know. That's just like one of the, like, every Monday, I kid you not, this morning, it's a Monday. He's like, how can I pray for you this week? And so I just feel like there's been a lot of prayer warriors for myself, but he has been the most consistent. And for that inspires me to be better than what I was, because they believe in something, even sometimes I can't even see. And so that's the real reason why we wanted to get on the podcast today, is just, if you don't have anybody that believes in you, reach out to us. Again, the podcast phone number, no one's going to answer it. You'd either leave a message or you text it, 515-446-8158. But like you said, you already mentioned it, it's lonely. And sometimes when you're uncommon, it's even lonelier because people just don't get it. And so that's what we like to be at Uncommon Wealth Partners. We like to, one, believe in you because we've seen something, and we also have put numbers behind it to put a plan together in order to show you, like, this could work. So if
But
you're
with
in a,
that,
in a
like I
rut,
said, like
what?
if finding that person that believes in you, if it's like like us, like I want to go back to the meeting real quick, like being truthful about it. Like, when someone tells you, like, maybe like, yeah, maybe this isn't for you, they know everything.
Right.
Like I've had my mentors, they have opened up and like, no, Aaron, don't go down that road. Like, and I thought it was really cool. Like, but looking back, it's like, man, you were right. So like, but finding that mentor that can push you on through that uncommon, like you were saying, because they know you, that's when you truly know they believe in you. So
That's right.
say
And
that in the sense, like, we will believe in you, but if we see you wrong,
that's a good point. Right.
Tell you to.
And I think the reason why I want to make sure that we have a community, not only for Uncommon Wealth, but for myself, is because, like, at some point you need help. Like you've driven off the road and you're in a ditch, and the more people that know you, that have been in your corner, the more people that can help you pull your car out of the ditch. Horrible analogy, but you get it. So
Yeah.
I think there's some truth to that.
Yeah, it's amazing to have these people that in your life, and I think there was a study. No, I'm gonna not do a good job about bringing it up, but I remember my wife talking about it only takes one person to make a big impact on your life that can change the trajectory of the future for you. One.
And that's like been the story of my life.
Yeah.
So that's been cool. Yeah. I love that you said that. Great way to cap this podcast. So again, reach out to us, 515-446-8158. Thank you for listening. You've been listening to the Uncommon Wealth Podcast. I've been your host, Philip Ramsey.
Now I'm Aaron Kramer.
Until next time, believe, baby.
Believe.
That's all for this episode, brought to you by Uncommon Wealth Partners. Be sure to visit uncommonwealth.com to learn more about our services. Don't miss an episode as we introduce you to inspiring people who are actively pursuing an uncommon life.